From the moment you walk into the showroom floor at Trapp Cadillac, you understand our commitment to providing a truly exceptional experience for all returning and new customers.
Our goal is to make sure you're always comfortable while understanding the entire process of getting into your new Trapp Cadillac.
When you drive a Trapp Cadillac, you know performance, bold styling, and our shared commitment to service.
One thing you can always count on here at Trapp Cadillac is our excellent service experience.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate and glad to be your host for this evening edition. Up now joining us, we have via Zoom, we have Assumption Parish Sheriff Commander Lonnie Cavalier. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, I understand Assumption Parish has been a little busy. Have a few, press releases on some arrests that took place. Can you tell us the latest?
Yes, these cases took place this week, and we have several of them. And we begin with a Cal Paul Onkal, 47 years of age, of 3579 Highway 1, Napoleonville. Alessi Elizabeth Landry, 40, of 131 Verder Street, Gap Park, Louisiana. And Quentin Anthony Mouton, 34, of 5352 Highway 56, Chauvin, Louisiana, were arrested last night on multiple felony charges arising from an ongoing narcotics investigation related to illegal trafficking in the Assumption Parish area. On yesterday afternoon, narcotics agents and uniformed patrol deputies executed a stop of a vehicle in LA 1011 south of Napoleonville. As a result of that stop, agents and deputies seized quantities of methamphetamine. The owner of the suspect vehicle, now identified as Quentin Anthony Mouton, was arrested. As part of the same investigation, narcotics agents secured a search warrant for the residence located at 3579 Highway 1, Napoleonville. Law enforcement converged on the residence and executed the search warrant. In doing so, agents seized a significant amount of methamphetamine and arrested Cal Paul Onkal, Alessi Elizabeth Landry, and Quentin Anthony Mouton. As to Cal Paul Onkal, he was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges as follows: possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute, possession of drug paraphernalia. Cal Paul Onkal remains incarcerated without bond. As to Alessi Elizabeth Landry, she was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a probation/parole violation. Alessi Land remains incarcerated pending a bond hearing on the drug charges, and she has been ordered held without bond on the parole probation violation. As to Quentin Anthony Mouton, he was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, careless operation of a motor vehicle, expired motor vehicle inspection tag. Quentin Anthony Mouton remains incarcerated pending a bond hearing. Additionally, there were two occupants who were issued misdemeanor summons. Gianna Cardenas, 24, of 109 Rochelle Villa, Gray, Louisiana, was charged with one count of possession of marijuana and released with a court date. Danielle Marie Ledate, 34, of 311 Westview Avenue, Gray, Louisiana, was charged with one count of possession of marijuana, and she was released with a court date.
Okay, so it looked like that one yielded a bunch of arrests or summonses from that investigation. Now I believe you have another one that took place during a traffic stop that you'd like to update us on?
Yes, our ICE unit conducted a traffic stop, and as a result of that traffic stop, Frank E. Floyd Jr., 45, of 32655 Bayou Sorrel Road, Plaquemine, Louisiana, was booked on felony drug charges. A uniformed patrol deputy assigned to the ICE detail observed a northbound vehicle on Highway 69 near Grand Bayou with equipment violations and executed a stop of that vehicle. The deputy made contact with the driver, now identified as Frank E. Floyd Jr., and engaged Floyd in an officer violator interview. The deputy noted multiple licensing and registration violations. At the conclusion of the interview process, the deputy believed additional investigation was warranted. The investigating deputy requested and was granted consent to search the suspect vehicle. During the search process, quantities of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia were seized. Frank E. Floyd Jr. was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, switched license plate, failure to display a license plate, expired or canceled license plate. Frank E. Floyd Jr. remains in the Parish Detention Center pending a bond hearing. Kayla Renee Gill, 32, of 915 Avenue A, West Wego, Louisiana, was arrested on multiple felony charges arising from a traffic stop in LM1 south of Napoleonville. A uniformed patrol deputy observed a vehicle with an equipment violation and initiated a stop of that vehicle. The deputy made contact with the driver, now identified as Kayla Renee Gill, and engaged Gill in an officer violator interview. The deputy noted Gill to appear distracted and inattentive. It was determined during the investigative stop that the suspect vehicle was uninsured. During the interview process, Kayla Renee Gill acknowledged the presence of controlled dangerous substances as well as a firearm present in her vehicle. As a result of the investigation, narcotic quantities of methamphetamine and a firearm were seized. At the time of the stop, there was a minor child present as the occupant of the vehicle. Kayla Renee Gill was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of possession of methamphetamine, illegal possession of a controlled dangerous substance in the presence of a person under age 17, illegal carrying of a weapon in the presence of controlled dangerous substances, prohibited acts, Schedule 2, controlled dangerous substances, headlamps for motor vehicles and motorcycles required. Kayla Renee Gill remains incarcerated with bond set at $50,000.
All right, Commander, thank you for that update. I know we have a few more to get through, including theft of an automobile and a fugitive warrant, but we need to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm talking with Commander Lonnie Cavalier of the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office. Thank you very much for joining us and giving us some updates. I know you have a few more incidents or arrests that you'd like to get through, starting with theft of an automobile, so I'll let you take it from here.
Yes, thanks, Jacob. Macon Rebecca Scarborough, 36 of 127 Highway 663 in Bayou, Lewis, was arrested from an incident arising from a stolen automobile investigation originating in Bayou, Lewis on Saturday. Deputies were dispatched to the 100 block of LA 663 in reference to the theft of an automobile. The complainants, an elderly couple, reported that they parked their vehicle at a location near where they were visiting. The complainants further advised that Megan Rebecca Scarborough was present at the time they parked their car. At some time later in the evening, the complainants noticed their car was missing and Megan Rebecca Scarborough was no longer present. Investigating deputies determined that Megan Rebecca Scarborough had taken the vehicle without permission. Megan Rebecca Scarborough was arrested in the 100 block of Highway 663, and she was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of theft of a motor vehicle, a fugitive warrant from the Morgan City Police Department, and a probation parole violation. Megan Rebecca Scarborough remains incarcerated with bond set at $15,000, and on the probation parole violation, she was ordered held without bail. Ronald Joseph Gibbs, 33, of 3032 Diana Drive, Morgan City, Louisiana, was arrested on felony theft charges arising from an incident at a residence in the 1200 block of Highway 402 early Wednesday morning. Deputies were summoned to the area by the complainant, who indicated that He was viewing live video surveillance of an individual stealing ATV from the residence. The footage was provided to investigating deputies and deputies assigned to the case. It was further determined that an outboard motor had also been stolen from the residence. Deputies and detectives, through use of the electronic surveillance footage, were able to identify the suspect vehicle. Deputies were also able to identify the suspect as Ronald Joseph Gibbs. Late Wednesday afternoon, deputies observed the suspect vehicle eastbound on LA 70. Deputies stopped the vehicle near the Ascension Parish line and subsequently arrested Ronald Joseph Gibbs. He was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on Wednesday on charges of theft, detainer from probation and parole. Ronald Joseph Gibbs remains incarcerated with bond set at $10,000 on the theft charges, and he was ordered held without bail on the probation parole violation. Matthew Paul Lovell, 39 of 2826 Highway 1 Labradorville, was arrested on felony drug charges arising from a traffic stop in the 2800 block of LA1. A uniformed patrol deputy observed a vehicle with an equipment violation and attempted a traffic stop. The suspect vehicle continued for a period of time and then stopped in a private driveway. The deputy noted swift movement coming from the front interior capsule of the vehicle. The deputy made contact with the driver, now identified as Matthew Paul Lovell. During the investigative stop, it was determined that the license plate on the vehicle was a switched plate. Due to the activities of the driver and passengers, deputies requested and were granted consent to search the vehicle. During that search, a quantity of methamphetamine was seized. Matthew Paul Lovell was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of possession of methamphetamine, obstruction of justice, improper equipment, and switched a license plate. Matthew Paul Lovell remains incarcerated with his bond set at $40,000. Tyrone Rainey, age 50, of 5937 Highway 1 Napoleonville, was arrested on multiple charges arising from a traffic stop in the Belrose area. A uniformed patrol deputy assigned to the ICE detail observed a vehicle commit an equipment violation and initiated a stop of that vehicle. The deputy made contact with the driver, now identified as Tyrone Rainey, and engaged the driver into an interview. During the investigative stop, the deputy determined that Tyrone Rainey was driving under a suspended driver's license and had an active warrant originating in Terrebonne Parish. The deputy believed that due to the circumstances, additional investigation was warranted. The deputy requested and was granted consent to search the vehicle. A subsequent search resulted in the seizure of multiple controlled dangerous substances. Tyrone Rainey was arrested and transported to the Assumption Parish Detention Center for booking. During an invasive personal search of the person of Tyrone Rainey, a quantity of additional illegal substances were located. Tyrone Rainey was booked on charges of possession with intent to distribute oxymorphone, possession of cocaine, possession of oxycodone, taking contraband to and from a penal institution, possession of drug paraphernalia, failure to dim headlights, and driving under a suspended driver's license. Tyrone Rainey posted an $85,000 commercial bond.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Commander, for those updates on those arrests. I know we have about 30 seconds left. If you want to inform anybody out there, I know it's the end of the year, where they can go to pay their property taxes. I know they're due that time this time of year.
Okay. Yes, you can pay property taxes at the Sheriff's Office main annex on Franklin Street in Napoleonville, or at any one of our substations in Labradorville, Bayou Lewis, Belrose, or Pierre Park. Starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, our offices will close until Monday morning. If you wish to pay your taxes during that time, we do have a drop box at the Franklin Street annex, and you can drop your payment along with the check in the box, and no cash can be accepted through that process.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Commander, for coming on and giving us an update about all that's going on around in Assumption Parish.
Thank you all for having us.
All right. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.